distinct pleasure to welcome every one of you to the Class of 2020 Commencement Ceremony. I had this idea this morning that if we all wondered what it felt like to be the Israelites crossing the Red Sea, I think we've just done it. Because I think there's rain to the east, there's rain to the west, and there's nothing here. And I think we're going to be good. Everybody here and everybody online knows that our seniors were a very special group of students long before the COVID-19 rocked our world. And just know that you will always hold a special place in our hearts for the memories made over the long term and the stories told, including so many of which could be nothing like they would have been, nothing like we would have imagined, only 3 months ago, right? 3 months ago, we would have never pictured this. But it's a joy, it's a blessing to be here to celebrate on the day, at the time, at least within 5 minutes, and we are good to go. Parents and family members gathered here in this beautiful setting, grandparents and relatives and friends that are joining us online. We're glad you're all here, and we're very excited that we're able to do this. In fact, it wasn't long ago where we just thought this was an option, and we weren't even sure if or when it was going to fall. But it's here, and we are joyful for it. I think of borrowing a common word used in the pandemic, unprecedented. We've come to realize that sitting on the grass with flowers that we brought and God's beautiful nature providing us something that outshines these, and even Mrs. Vogel not jumping on these loudspeakers saying, "Would you please stay off the grass?" Right, seniors? All of that has put us in a pretty spectacular place today as we celebrate you, the class of 2020. We hope you are both blessed and honored by what unfolds before you today. God bless you as one journey ends and another begins. And with that, I welcome forward Lilia and Julia to share scripture readings with us today. Thank you all for being here.
Our school's theme verse for this year comes from Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. This is my command, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
The class of 2020 chose Proverbs 19, verses 20 and 21 for our class verse. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be accounted among the wise. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails.
Well, we made it. Here we are, seniors. We're here. Did you ever believe this moment would come? We all knew it would come, but you know. In addition to President Sleddy's welcome, I want to welcome you all on behalf of the class of 2020. My name is Jessica. I'm the campus pastor here at this beautiful school on this beautiful campus, and it's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And as we celebrate our graduates today, I want to take a moment to bring us back. I want to bring us back to a place in time that seems so far removed from what we know of life today. Yet, maybe it isn't all that different after all. It was the disciples. They were gathered in the company of Jesus, and they were sharing some of the best parts of their life together, learning and growing together and going through some really crazy stuff together. It was the good life. And the disciples knew what was coming, the promised future. They were so close, they could taste it. And then it happened. A death that would rock their world. A death of the one they thought was unbreakable. We can imagine this was not what they thought the plan was. It certainly was not the future that they had in mind. They were supposed to be there by his side, gathered in the company of the Messiah, hugging, making memories, and celebrating the future together. After all, Jesus came so that they could have life and have it more abundantly. They had been living the abundant life. Sound familiar, graduates? It was only a couple months ago when you seniors gathered in the halls of this school, and you were sharing some of the best parts of your life together. Learning and growing together, going through some really crazy stuff together. This was the good life. You knew what was coming, the promised future, and you were so close you could taste it. And then it happened. A virus that would rock our world. A virus that seemed unstoppable. And it's hard to imagine that this is a part of the plan, isn't it? This certainly was not the future we had in mind. We were all supposed to be here, gathered in shields, hugging, taking pictures, making memories, and celebrating your future together. After all, Jesus came so we could have life and have it more abundantly. We had been living the abundant life. You see, just like that, the future the disciples had been dreaming of, a future they thought was so close, was gone. And so too, just like that, the future that you seniors had been dreaming of, a future that you thought was so close, was gone. But before all of this, it wasn't hard to begin imagining what was coming next. Whether it was finishing your last few classes as a Grover, running after school to prepare for your final track meet, or memorizing one last script for your final theater performance. Or maybe you had dates on your calendar, grad parties planned, and prom wear picked out. The promised future was at hand. You were so close. And then all of this. And all of a sudden you're asking questions like, what exactly does school online look like? And what about my friends? And what about graduation? And the list could go on and on. So maybe today we've gotten a small glimpse of what the disciples experienced, a hint of how their hopes were dashed. But I want to acknowledge today's seniors. You have experienced a loss, a mourning of what should have been. But on this graduation day, on this day that you move forward from this place that you've poured your heart and soul into, let's remember what happened next. What happened next was hope. And what happened next was joy. You see, weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. The hope and the joy that comes next is the hope and the joy of the resurrection. And then what? Well, the disciples, they got back up. They dusted themselves off, and they got back to living. Abundant living. Living that spread the hope and joy of Jesus to the world. You see, seniors, we are who we are because they got back up. We are who we are because they took that joy and they took that hope and they brought it into the world. And now it's your turn. Seniors, you've got a job to do. You've got some big shoes to fill. This world, it needs you. It needs your talents. It needs your gifts. It needs your hope. It needs your joy. We need you to get back up, and we need you to dust yourself off and get back to living. Live the abundant life so the world will know the joy and the hope that can only be found in Jesus. And finally, I want to remind you of the scripture spoken over this class on this day. Lilia encouraged us with these words, seniors, be strong, be courageous. We know you are. And Julia reminded us, the Lord's purpose will prevail. And remember this, God's going with you. And because of that, seniors, you're unstoppable. You're unbreakable, and you're uncontainable. You'll be the mighty oaks that you were created to be. So get out there, seniors, and show the world what you've got. Let's pray. God, it's so easy to look at this time as a time when We all feel so confused and so frustrated that things didn't go as planned, but God, we're in good company. We're in the company of you. We're in the company of your disciples who went before us, people who spread the hope and joy of who you are. God, I pray for this class. I pray for each person in this class. God, that as we go forth from this place, we would remember, God, that we're not going alone, that we've got each other. We've got our Grover family, our brothers and sisters in Christ. And more than anything, Lord, we have you. So God, help us to be strong, help us to be courageous, and help us to live into the purpose that you have for each one of us today. Lord, we love you, and we pray these things in your strong and powerful name. Amen. Now it's my pleasure to invite forward our student body president, Mr. Ian McKay.
Howdy. My name is Ian McKay. I've had the privilege to serve Oak Grove as a student body president for this past year. Speaking on behalf of the class of 2020, thank you to all the teachers, all the way who have been with us from preschool and kindergarten, all the way to the end of senior year, and especially for the hard work they've put in the last couple months. Thank you to all the parents for investing not only in your own child's education, but being involved in taking interest in many other students as well. Thank you to the classes who've come before us for showing us what to do and certainly what not to do. And thank you to the classes who are following us for holding us accountable and being so gracious with us. Now, we've learned a lot in our time at Oak Grove, hopefully a lot that we'll remember next year. But as much as we've learned in the classroom, we've learned outside of it. One of the things that Oak Grove constantly reminds us about is that we are all representatives of Oak Grove. You know, what we do negatively or positively reflects back on the community as a whole. I'm not much for giving compliments, but objectively speaking, I would say our class has met the high standards set for us and surged beyond it. Whether it's been interacting with other schools in competition and sports and whatnot, we've had high integrity and character both in play and in the student sections. When we've interacted with other schools in our co-op activities, we've displayed leadership and dedication, like our hockey boys on the Fargo South, Shanley, Oak Grove Park Christian, Woodrow Wilson Homeschool hockey team, or the outstanding diving career of Mr. Connor Johnson. We have Grovers who have had their excellence in the arts displayed both in coffee shops and the Great Plains Art Museum, or they've been jamming out in gigs all across town. And we have 3 official Goodwill ambassadors of North Dakota who are also concluding their final year on the FM Acro team. Now, I said it before that I'm not much for giving compliments, but I would say looking past all the groups we've been a part of and all the accomplishments all of us have to show, each individual has shown that they are a fantastic representative of Oak Grove. That is the best compliment I could give. Thank you, love Sousa, and now Ben Asham will be following me for the valedictorian speeches.
I haven't said a whole lot over the last 7 years at Oak Grove, and I want to keep this short, so that's not going to change today. When it came time to write this address, I struggled finding the type of speech that I wanted to give. This is mostly because I didn't want to give any speech at all, because also, you only get one chance at it. So now I have a few choices. I could give a thank you speech listing all the people that made this possible. That would become awkward for those that don't make the list. I could do a humorous speech, but that would be a lot of pressure and has a high likelihood of becoming a speech filled with awkward silences. I could do a speech full of advice. After all, I am a few months older than most of you, and I have learned quite a lot in those 3 months head start in life. There are plenty of other options, but I want to keep this short, so I'm going to offer some advice. As both a perfectionist and a procrastinator, I will tell you don't be either of them. It's a dangerous combination and will lead to plenty of lost sleep and undue stress. Learn to appreciate what you have. It's often easy to focus on what we've missed out on and the things that we want, but the past can't be changed and the list of things we want is unending. Finding satisfaction in what you have and looking forward to your future will leave you much happier. Number 3, think critically. I believe it's the most valuable thing someone can learn to do. Whether it's in academics or in life, the ability to think critically and independently will be an invaluable skill that will allow you to apply what you've learned during your time here. And finally, don't be afraid to commit to the decisions that you make. We're about to enter a time of our lives where we will make many important life decisions, and it can be easy to worry if you're going to make the right ones. But I would encourage you not to worry about making the wrong decisions. Often, many of the choices we make are less significant than they appear. For example, when I was writing the speech this morning, I didn't know what I was going to say. As I mentioned earlier, there are many directions to take in a dress like this, but ultimately I had to pick one and go with it. Because I chose to offer some advice, I couldn't give a long, heartfelt goodbye or a collection of my best jokes. Maybe either one of those would have been better than this one, but I'm not going to mourn the loss of my sentimental goodbye or my stand-up routine. But rather, I'll be glad they chose to speak at all. My advice to you would be to approach life in the same way. Don't regret what could have been, but appreciate what you have and look forward to your future. Before I finish, I would like to thank my family, faculty, and my classmates. You all have been an important part of making my high school experience a good one, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to spend it with you. Thank you.
My name is Cara Berg, and I have the honor of representing the class of 2020 as one of 4 valedictorians. I want to start by saying a huge thank you to our parents for their nonstop support, especially through the roller coaster of emotions that came with quarantine. You always welcome us home with smiles and open arms, and we appreciate that more than you know. Thank you, Oak Grove administration and staff, for working hard to make sure we could all be here today. You have shown an insurmountable amount of dedication, patience, and love towards our class and many others over the years. We are who we are because of all of you. I also want to specifically thank 3 teachers who will be moving on to a new chapter in the fall: Mrs. Fettig, Mrs. Saunders, and Mr. Wright. We have been so blessed to learn from you guys, and we wish you nothing but the best on your next journey. We love you. On the first day of school this year, the campus ministry team announced that our theme for the year would be Battle Cry, with Joshua 1:9 as our theme verse, which reads, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Little did we know, the battle cry mentality would actually equip us for a battle against an invisible enemy who would throw some excitement into our lives come 3rd quarter. There could not have been a more perfect theme going into this year, but I would also argue that there was no better group to face this challenge than us. From our first days of walking North Campus in 6th grade to saying our last goodbyes on Zoom just a few days ago, our teachers have always emphasized that there's just something about the class of 2020 that makes us different. Not necessarily better or superior, but unique and set apart from other classes. I think a big part of our class's battle cry is unity. There is a sense of unity with this group that I can't say I felt anywhere else. We do things together. Things like a 6:45 a.m. pancake breakfast in the Loop and tirelessly cheering our classmates on to history at state volleyball. These things don't just happen out of obligation. They happen because we simply love to be together. Unity has been our glue since the beginning of the school year, and now that we're in this weird place of desperately wanting to move on to a new chapter of normalcy, I would bet that a lot of us are still feeling that ache of discontent from missing out on the time together we so eagerly expected. Luckily, the other part of our battle cry is resilience. We have been challenged greatly at times this year, but never have we been defeated. In fact, we even took measures during quarantine, like watching Ian make orange chicken on Zoom and spending hours in our trunks watching the sunset to make sure we could all still be together. God knit our class together in the way he did because he saw the battle we would be facing, and he knew that together, our unity and resilience could withstand anything. Even though it took us almost 3 months to get through Hamlet and many of Kelly's cookies were left uneaten, I wouldn't trade this time for anything. Thank you, class of 2020, for being what makes Oak Grove home to me and many others. Sorry. I'm so grateful to be graduating with incredible people like you, who each live a life of service, faith, and leadership in your own way. and I could not ask for a better group to fight and win this battle with. Thank you.
Well, it's been a fun 2 months, hasn't it? I mean, I know I love being trapped inside and staring at my computer for 12 hours a day. You know, really getting the most out of the high school experience, but here we are. All right, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet so we can get right to Morgan's much better 45-minute speech up next. First of all, just wanna say thank you to everyone. Thank you, classmates, for being just a fantastic group to be with. Thank you to all the staff whose tireless work makes this place run. And thank you for the teachers. Thank you, Mrs. Fornes, for struggling through my attempts at creative writing for 2 years, and thank you for being just an off-the-charts nice person, despite having to read hundreds and hundreds of papers every year. Thank you, Mr. Conant, for always being ready to whip out a hilarious dad joke. I'm excited to see where your stand-up career takes you in the future. Thank you, Mr. Wright, for sticking with us one last year, even though you have a baby to feed on the way. Thank you, Mr. Langseth and Ms. Westerhausen, for teaching me that I don't like math. Thank you, Deli, for whipping us with plastic basketballs and speaking horrible Spanish like "El baño queso es guapo de pollo." Gracias a señora Pero. Oh shoot, she's not here. Finally, thank you to everyone else that I didn't specifically thank because time is too short and I couldn't think of anything to make fun of. Now, I know you're expecting me as a valedictorian to enlighten you with my vast degrees of intellect and wisdom and answer some great mystery of life for you. Well, I'm sorry I can't do that, but Ben can. So if you have any questions about the meaning of life, just ask him. He'll be happy to help. Anyways, as we go into college and the next chapter of life, I know a lot of us will be worrying about money. In the words of Wu-Tang, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, y'all. Cash does rule everything around us, but that isn't life, is it? We're going to that stage where we figure out what we want to do, what we want to be. You know, people will ask you what you're going to go to college for, and you'll say, oh, I want to be a doctor, I'm going to be an engineer. And that's great, but I want to ask you 2 questions. The first is that really what you love to do? Oh, sure, you love helping people, but isn't it really the money you're chasing after by being a doctor? And being an engineer sounds cool, but do you really want to do math every day of your life? Second question is, do you really want to simply be your job? I mean, you can have whatever job you want, and that's fine, but I think you are more than just your job, right? When someone asks you what you do for a living, I think you should instead say, I work at the hospital, but I'm a musician, or something like that. Be yourself, not your job. So as we go to college, and so we can get a job to pay off all our debt for going to college, focus on living, not the money. Focus on the things you really love to do, not what you're paid to do. Money is a means to an end, it's not the end. It's how you pay for your dreams, but money shouldn't be your dream. So go to college, get a job to survive and pay the bills, but don't forget to live. Carpe diem, you know. Seize the day while you still have a chance to seize it. Live for who you are and what you love, and don't be defined by your job. Now I end with a challenge for you. I know, I sound like a chapel speaker no one ever listens to, but I just have to say, don't follow the money. Don't be your job in life. Instead, be what you're passionate about, and do as Radiohead says, immerse your soul in love. Thank you.
Thank you, Caden. It's actually 48 minutes, so yeah. When tasked with writing a speech that somebody has to write year after year, I really wanted to come up with something unique. I knew I would be following my amazing peers whose speeches were very amazing, and when I think of the rest of my classmates, I realize how can I be up here alone when every single one of them should be recognized for who they are. Each one of you has taught me something valuable and important that I will remember for the rest of my life. Ian McKay taught me leadership and respect as he led our class with pride as student body president. He never wavered in his decisions, and each decision he made was for the good of the school. He led with poise and humility, and that is something I will always remember him for.
Along with Ian, Mason, Jorgen, and Lily taught me dedication every day. They showed up early to school to serve the class of 2020 in student council. Emily McKay, Cara Berg, and Emily Stover taught me persistence and that they became incredibly talented athletes in a sport that is true dedication from an early age. They displayed their hard work of several years on the Oak Grove basketball court this year and received a standing ovation. Zach Wolf, Lily, Peter, Cooper, Natalia, Gavin, Ben, Caden, Jorgen, Ryan Nelson, and Steven showed me the importance of intelligence as we made it through AP Calculus this year. Their drive to push themselves to do anything and such an advanced class like this shows me that I can do anything I put my mind to. In the future, when we all have homes of our own, if our bathtub should overflow or something, thank goodness we know how to find the rate at which the tub filled with water between 1 and 3 p.m. using a definite integral with respect to x. Grace Lougheed continually reminded me of the importance of creativity. She never failed to amaze me in her unique and incredible art creations when she humbly made the most impressive school projects. Chuck, Matt Clems, and Josh Olgard taught me the importance of work ethic. They took on part-time jobs while still attending high school as if high school isn't a full-time job on its own. Mimi, Lily, Sarah, Peter, and John showed me courage to come to a school around the globe and flourish. I will remember you all as the most courageous people I've ever met, and it will push me out of my comfort zone in the future. Julia Bogart, Gabby, Emily McKay, Jaden, Greta, Emily Stover, Cara Berg, and Natalia demonstrated to me the importance of teamwork as they never gave up on one another and took the volleyball team to state for the first time since 1999. Jake Lang, Dylan, Joe, and Donnie taught me to always put my heart into what I do, to have determination in whatever I may be achieving. They demonstrated their willingness to never miss a football game and lead their young teammates to learn. Cooper, Matt, Steen, Caden, Maddie, Ryan Nelson, Maya Comer, Lauren Parks, and Mickey taught me commitment. They spent countless hours inside the Shields atrium correcting and perfecting their skills to put on a show that never failed to amaze the audience. Seb Zazada, Donnie, and Gavin taught me to never back down. They competed against one of the largest schools in Fargo, taking part in co-op hockey, yet they still represented Oak Grove by making it to state several times in the span of their careers. This long list of people taught me loyalty through whatever life may give you. They stood strong by each other since preschool at Oak Grove. This list includes Mason, Alyssa Zabel, Ian, Emily, Lauren, Gavin, Grace, Chuck, Ethan, and Cara. All of these people have supported one another from the very beginning. Ethan Harden, Matt, Josh, and Maya taught me to always follow my dreams. They pursue their dreams with their incredible musical talent, and I know they will succeed. Because of these four, I always know that my dreams are something I can achieve. Kate and Mimi exemplified the importance of never being afraid. Both of these ladies attended a new school their senior year, as well as Kate setting records in weightlifting and Mimi graduating a whole year early. Maya, Mason, Connor, Regan Kath, Natalia, and Megan taught me to think outside the box. They made any place their place to be, and the area they ate in even got a name that became known to all as The Hole. Greta Larson and Lilia Jerva taught me to focus on the important things of life. They showed me this through being incredible senior leaders on the basketball court. Sometimes having fun is the best thing you can do for a team, even if it doesn't always mean winning. Tori Peterson showed me the importance of kindness and small acts. Tori would bring delicious cookies to school for each and every occasion, and he would double and triple check to make sure no one ever left without one. Lastly, the people who taught me that any place can be made into a home with the right people. These people seated behind me are the right ones. Each one of your names would be listed under this, that you all made Oak Grove feel like a home. I will remember your names as the people who show me passion, intelligence, respect, commitment, and loyalty, and so many more crucial values to life. If we don't see one another for a while after this day, I hope we can remember the things about each other that made us a fantastic class, an irreplaceable group of people, and a forever home. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Fornes, and I've had the pleasure of teaching high school English here at Oak Grove for the past 18 years. I'd like to thank the seniors for forcing me to get dressed in something other than stretchy pants and venture out here to speak to them today. Teachers relish standing behind a podium in front of people talking. I'm back, baby. Feels so good. Every one of these graduates sitting here today has sat in my classroom, sometimes for multiple classes. They see me more than they see you parents some days, and perhaps after this whole quarantine thing, you wish that were still true. However, this spring, that was not the case. As we all know, this spring was different in so many ways. To be honest, I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about the last 3 months, using the words strange, unfair, inconvenient, unprecedented, unique, and uncertain. The spring has been all of those things, so let's not dwell on it right now. You seniors have had 12 3/4 years worth, and I used the right apostrophe there, 12 3/4 years worth of rich, valuable face-to-face experiences that cannot be negated by one small quarter. No, I've never taught Hamlet on Zoom forever. That took forever. No, I've never held office hours online, and no, I've never graded so many essays on the screen of a computer. But no, I've also never missed a group of students as much as I missed you. Sorry. But the greatest tragedy of this whole thing, and I think every teacher here would agree, can be described in 3 words: graduation party food. We missed it, and it's a crying shame. The last 3 months hasn't taught me how to be more tech savvy or how to use a learner management system. The last 3 months has reminded me why I do what I do. I don't teach English because I just love Shakespeare. Miss Oster doesn't teach anatomy because she just loves blood and guts. And Mr. Slider doesn't teach financial literacy because he just loves tax forms. I love teaching English because I love teaching Shakespeare to you. Miss Oster loves teaching anatomy to you. Mr. Slider loves teaching financial literacy to you. Mostly so he can make you cry when you realize how poor you're gonna be for a while. He loves that. Without you, we're just people talking to ourselves, telling ourselves witty jokes and laughing into an empty room. In short, without you, we are insane. We need you, maybe more than you need us sometimes. Our joy and purpose comes from seeing your light bulb go off, seeing you make the connection, or hearing you say something we hadn't even quite considered. I mentioned all my seniors on our last day of class or Zoom meetings that it was both a blessing and a curse this happened to this particular class. They were, by all stretches of the imagination, the most capable of handing this kind of wrench. However, it's that very capability that made them a complete joy to have in class each and every day. Often people think I'm crazy when I tell them I teach seniors in high school. They laugh and joke about kids with senioritis or teenagers and all of these stereotypical things people say about you. But I love teaching seniors, particularly this group. When I was talking to a senior recently about speaking at graduation, she mentioned, "I just seem to click with your class," which is why you asked me here. Well, I'm honored, since I have not had a class with whom I'd like to be more clickable. I've spoken at graduation a couple of times in the past, and I've written everything from a poem to a 5-paragraph essay for graduating classes. For you, however, looking out to what's next, I'd like to do something different. I've written many letters of recommendation for seniors in my day, some of you as well. So I'd like to present you with my letter of recommendation for the Oak Grove class of 2020. May 24th, 2020, to whom it may concern. I'm writing on behalf of the Oak Grove class of 2020, Some of them I've known longer than my own children, and some of them I met just this year. However, I can say without hesitation, they're one of the most memorable groups I've taught. They're not memorable in a loud, boisterous way, but in a quiet, introspective, thoughtful way. I try to remember to give students wait time as a teacher, meaning after I ask a question, I wait long enough to give students time to think before jumping in with an answer. With this class, my wait time became epically and uncomfortably long some days. It's not as though they were disengaged and not paying attention. Instead, they were thinking so deeply about the question that I asked, or they didn't want to be disrespectful and rude and chime in before someone else. If anything, online discussion boards became better than face-to-face discussion because of their ability to take the time to think, respond, and interact with their peers' ideas. It was beautiful to read this spring, but it sometimes made class comically quiet. Because they're quiet thinkers, the class of 2020 is rather welcoming and mature, usually avoiding too much drama, as can befall small groups of students forced to spend too much time together. In all reality, this group realizes the benefits of community, relationships, and togetherness in a way that other classes before them have not experienced. One night before the whole distance learning experiment was about to officially begin, and we had unexpectedly been separated for over a week, I sent out a quick email around 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Shows what kind of life I had before that whole thing started now. Letting seniors know I was in my Zoom room. Doesn't that just sound cool? Within 30 seconds, I had a dozen seniors just ping, ping, ping come into my room, just wanting to chat, or just say hi, or to see a familiar face. They care about and have empathy for one another. They show how much they care for each other by showing up for one another. Their talents range far and wide, from state-bound sports to musical and theatrical productions, and they show up to cheer, to applaud, and to encourage one another every step of the way. They represent Oak Grove well, and have never agonized more than I did this year about how to pick an outstanding senior award winner, because so many of them were deserving of that honor. While they might be slightly introverted, do not be lulled into a false sense of security. Lurking behind those quiet, angelic faces lies a sharp wit that will catch you off your guard. More than once, I have been taken aback by a dry comment, a sarcastic jab, or a mostly school-appropriate meme, mostly, from unsuspecting characters. Their brains are working all the time, and you'd be hard-pressed to let your guard down because they are thinking a whole lot more than they might be saying. I can see it on your faces. Lastly, while some may say they had much taken from them this year, they have also gained invaluable insight into the world. Everything is connected, and they have lived it better than any of us, their teachers, could have illustrated. They see how economics cannot be contained in Mr. Wright's classroom, how chemistry cannot be locked in Mrs. Wright's room, and how international relations cannot be left in Mr. DeLorme's room. They're better prepared to see this more than any other Oak Grove graduating class. They realize their future endeavors all rely on one another, whether it be in law, business, economics, world history, international relations, journalism, psychology, government, construction, food service, politics, child development, medicine, parenting, chemistry, public health, or the arts. These are all undeniably connected and reliant on one another. We all may have been living in isolation for a while, but these vocations cannot. This year's Grover seniors realize no matter what they do or who they become, they are all essential. And they walk into the world with a great sense of responsibility to make those connections matter. The class of 2020 comes to you with my highest recommendation. I will hug each and every one of them when it is socially acceptable. But for now, I leave you with, put your hand up, everybody, an air high five. And with the confidence that these students aren't just some of the best students or the best high school kids I've known. They are some of the best people I have had the pleasure of having in my life, and I will miss them dearly. Sincerely, Mrs. Fornes. Michelle.fornes@grovelutheran.com, which is how I have to end all the letters of recommendation. Congratulations, class of 2020. We all love you dearly.
This next piece is an addition to our graduation ceremony. One of the things that we missed was Convocation this year, but we decided to bring that to graduation for our seniors and honor those scholarship and award winners here today. Each year, Oak Grove Lutheran School graduates an impressive group of students, and the class of 2020 is no exception. We have many seniors who have chosen their next steps in the upper Midwest, while others have decided on routes that will take them to Colorado, Arizona, Alabama, and Connecticut. In total, the amount of scholarships on offer to our humble scholarly class of 2020 is just under $22 million. Among these are several impressive scholarships. The first scholarship that we would like to talk about is the National Merit Scholarship Finalist. The National Merit Scholarship trek begins in the fall of junior year and with the completion of the PSAT test. From 1.6 million students who typically take this test annually, there are about 15,000 semifinalists chosen, with about 30 of those coming from North Dakota. From this number, students apply for finalist positions, and the National Merit Scholarship finalists are chosen. This year, Oak Grove Lutheran School is proud to announce that Ben Asham has been named as a National Merit Scholarship finalist. Ben, will you please come forward to get your certificate?
The next scholarship information that we'd like to share with you comes from the Berrie Foundation. For the last 5 years, I believe it is, they have offered 4-year annually renewable college scholarships for graduating high school seniors. This year, they added a special program where they will do that for 2-year students going forward. And these are students that demonstrate exceptional character, leadership, and commitment to serving their community during their high school participation in the philanthropy and youth program, otherwise known as PAY. Many of you have heard about it. Recipients of the scholarship are selected from both the Minnesota and North Dakota side. I think 26 schools participate in the PAY program through the Berrie Foundation. And unlike scholarship programs that focus exclusively on merit or financial need, this program is based on the applicant's high school pay engagement and future commitment to positively impacting society. This year, Oak Grove is proud to announce 2 winners of the Berrie Foundation Scholarship. Receiving a 4-year annual renewable scholarship is Mr. Jorgen Dietz, and one of the receivers of the first ever 2-year program is Miss Sarah Phillips. Congratulations to both of you. If you would stand. have another beautiful announcement here today. And I believe last year we had a similar thing, different branch. But founded in 1954, the United States Air Force Academy is not just a premier higher education establishment. It's an unparalleled academic and military institution that provides young men and women with rewarding opportunities to be transformed into leaders of tomorrow, dedicating themselves to the U.S. Air Force's Academy's core values as a way of life. Those core values: integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. It is our distinct honor to have a member of the Air Force Academy's class of 2024 in our graduating class of 2020. Mr. Gavin Sunderland has accepted his cadet appointment to the Air Force Academy and I believe leaves in June. Would you please join me in recognizing and congratulating Mr. Gavin Sunderland? Gavin, please stand. There you go. And actually, I'm going to put you on the spot because we didn't think we had anything for you to receive, but if you could step forward and receive this on behalf of the Air Force Academy.
Each year, the North Dakota Association of Secondary School Principals names the academic all-state medalist. The requirements of this are a well-rounded student who scores above 30 on the ACT test. This year, Oak Grove has 4 students given honorable mention: Cooper Windall, Stephen Eddy, Kate Satoris, and Lauren Parks. Named to the academic all-state bronze team is Cara Berg. Named to the academic all-state team, along with only 9 other North Dakota Class B students, is Caden Nessler. The Oak Grove Senior Scholarship was started last year as a way for our teachers to honor seniors. Faculty and staff donate to the scholarship and in turn wear their alma mater gear for a day. This is the scholarship's 2nd year and our teachers came through, even though they wore their gear at home. Seniors who apply for a scholarship every month of the academic year are eligible to apply for the Senior Scholarship. This year, 12 students qualified. Because all our applicants are amazing, the competition was fierce. The judges said it was difficult to choose the winner since everyone did a great job. This year's Senior Scholarship winner is Cara Berg. Cara Berg.
The Milan Albey Scholarship. is given in honor of Milan Albey, a science teacher here at Oak Grove. Mr. Albey joined Oak Grove Lutheran School in 1969 and taught science and computer courses until his retirement in the spring of 2005. His classroom was a regular after-school retreat for students who enjoyed chess or who were looking for an interesting place to hang out. He thrived on being able to help students learn and develop their full potential. This year, the Milan Albey Scholarship goes to Jorgen Dietz.
By the way, are there any handshakers in the crowd? Like, is it almost impossible not to do it for you? It is for me. But every time we congratulate, we mean it from the heart and extend a virtual hand. I guess it's sort of like the virtual high five. Every year, we give a John Philip Sousa Award. It was established in 1955 in honor of the great American bandmaster. The Sousa Award is the highest award given to a high school senior in recognition of outstanding musicianship, leadership, and loyalty to the school band program. To preserve the integrity of the award, the only award is allowed to go once per year per high school. This year, Oak Grove Lutheran School is proud to award the John Philip Sousa Award to Mr. Steen Krogstad. On the other side of the arts, we are proud to provide a National School Choral Scholarship Award. It's given in recognition of singular merit, ability, and achievement of outstanding contributions to the success of the school vocal program. It recognizes an unusual degree of loyalty, cooperation, and high qualities of conduct by the general consent of the music faculty, school officials, and others. This year, Oak Grove Lutheran School is proud to award the National School Choral Award to Mr. Ian McKay.
The Quanbeck Award. The Reverend Thor H. Quanbeck served as president of Oak Grove from 1937 to 1950. Reverend Quanbeck created an award to honor a female and male athlete who participate in multiple sports, demonstrating a variety of skills and a wide range of athleticism. Today, we continue Reverend Quanbeck's celebration of the multi-sport athlete with the award that carries his name, the Quanbeck Senior Athlete of the Year. The Quanbeck Senior Athlete of the Year award winners are selected by our coaches and athletic director. Criteria for the award include participation in multiple sports, representing Oak Grove well, and displaying our shared values while competing at a high level. The 2020 Quanbeck Senior Female Athlete of the Year award goes to Morgan Nymiller. The 2020 Quanbeck Senior Male Athlete of the Year award goes to Ryan Donabauer.
These are my personal favorite awards. We're going to recognize our Shared Values Award winners. Each semester at Oak Grove, students and staff recognize 6 students who exemplify our shared values: relationships, community, faith and reason, courage and curiosity, character, service, and leadership. This semester, 4 of our graduating seniors were selected by Oak Grove teachers, and we would like to celebrate these individuals now. Service and leadership. This value is described as we transform ourselves and the world around us by loving and serving our neighbors, showing compassion and empathy to all, and being leaders who imitate Christ in our thoughts, words, and actions. This student is a shining example of service and leadership at Oak Grove Lutheran School and is an invaluable part of the Oak Grove community. He is mature. He is mature, has a wonderful sense of humor, and selflessly gives his time and talents to serve others. He is always ready to lend a helping hand, knows how to get things done, and goes above and beyond to serve his brothers and sisters. Whether it is before school, after school, during chapel, or behind the scenes of a theater performance, one thing is for sure. This student is tirelessly working for the well-being of our school like the true Eagle Scout he is. Though he often serves behind the scenes with no need for the spotlight, he will be incredibly missed and impossible to replace when he is at college next year. For these reasons and more, the Shared Value Award for Service and Leadership is presented to Stian Krogstad. The shared value of community, defined as we grow as a community that welcomes new people and ideas, supports each other as members of our family, and continually renews our legacy as part of God's unfolding plan. This student strengthens our community by reaching out to those that may need a helping hand or words of encouragement. Aware of our interconnectedness as children of the same Heavenly Father and heeding the call to love our neighbors as ourselves, this student enriches the lives of others and renews our legacy as part of God's unfolding plan by consistently demonstrating kindness, compassion, respect, honesty, and integrity. She sets a wonderful example for underclassmen and for each one of us. For these reasons and more, the Shared Value Award for Community is presented to Natalia Kellerman. Relationships, defined as we thrive on personal relationships and strong role models, care for each person as a child of God, and together reflect a spirit of accountability, trust, and respect. This individual effortlessly incorporates the value of relationships into everything she does, showing her passion to be intentional in every aspect of her life. At Oak Grove, she is always kind and encouraging as she interacts with staff and other students from every grade level. She consistently seeks to genuinely understand other points of view with an open mind. She spent her co-op experiences this year learning about homelessness and how she can play a role in ending it. Her heart shines bright as she shows concern for people in need and desires to connect with them to fulfill their needs. She supports and encourages people to do and be their best. Always with a smile on her face, this student radiates the love of God in her relationships at Oak Grove and in the Fargo area. For all these reasons and more, the Shared Value Award for Relationships is presented to Reagan Kath. Courage and curiosity. We encourage courageous exploration and development of our God-given gifts, driven by a curiosity to discover broad and unique opportunities and commit ourselves to lifelong learning and growth. This student has shown incredible strength and perseverance in her time at Oak Grove. She has taken time and energy to explore her God-given talents and has honed and developed her artistic skills and creativity. If faced with adversity, she meets it head on and sticks up for what is right. When given a chance to go above and beyond, she will rise to the challenge. She is the true definition of a lifelong learner. This student shows curiosity in her faith and cares deeply for people in all walks of life. God has given her an amazing gift, and she continues to share it with the world. For these reasons and more, the Shared Value Award for Courage and Curiosity is presented to Grace Lougheed.
Our final award is our Outstanding Senior Award. The Outstanding Senior Award recognizes the individual in the senior class who best typifies the highest standards of Oak Grove, the ideal Grover. The award recognizes excellence in academic and extracurricular, with particular emphasis on Christian example. Nominees must demonstrate leadership when and where possible, work up to their academic ability, and portray a depth of Christian character, citizenship, and scholarship. This year, the faculty of Oak Grove Lutheran School are pleased to award the Outstanding Senior Award to Miss Morgan Nymiller. Seniors, you may stand and begin your second to the last promenade. Ben, if you would lead. The Oak Grove Lutheran School Class of 2020, I present Benjamin Stewart Asham.
Cara Marie Berg.
Julia Claire Bogart.
Mason Matthew Balmy.
Jorgen Robert Dietz.
Ryan David Donabauer.
Stephen Robert Eddy.
Gabrielle Elizabeth Herbs.
Megan Ann Ertle.
Ethan Michael Allen Harden.
Connor W.P. Johnson.
Lilia Ann Jerva.
Regan Ray Cath.
Natalia Lynn Kellerman.
Matthew Paul Clems.
Maya Marie Comer.
Stian Mesna Krogstad.
Jacob Lee Lang.
Greta Dieter Larson.
Peter Lee.
Grace Alma Lougheed.
Emily Ann McKay.
Ian Edward McKay.
Jaden Mary Mistelski Zeiss.
Ryan Lee Nelson.
Caden Carlos Nestler.
Lily Wen.
Morgan Lee Niemiller.
Charles Anthony Nordby.
Joshua Luke Olgard.
Lauren Nicole Parks.
Tori Nolan Peterson.
Sarah Apu Allier Phillip.
Michael Paul Porter.
Kate Elizabeth Satoris.
Emily Nell Stover.
Joseph Earl Strindon.
Dylan Derek Sunderland.
Gavin John Sunderland.
John Tang.
Kirati Tayutavudakul.
Madison Ann Euchre.
Cooper Lawrence Wendell.
Zachary Michael Wolf.
Alyssa Ann Zabel.
Sebastian Xavier Zazada.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2020, you have successfully demonstrated your academic achievement by earning your high school diploma with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. It is my highest honor to instruct you to turn your tassel from the right to the left, signifying your next steps into lifelong Christian commitment and loving service throughout the world. If you have not already done so, graduates, please turn your tassels. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, parents, grandparents, friends and family members, faculty and staff, alumni, and most importantly, good afternoon and congratulations, graduates. For all of you that are with us today and all of you that are joining us, we're so glad that you can be here to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2020. My name is Cher Thompson, and I have the privilege to serve as the Board of Regents Chair, and I am so glad to be able to be with you today. Graduates, this may not be the ceremony that you had hoped for. Your day may not include the family and friends celebrating together in the way that you had planned. Your photos, your graduation party, maybe lack thereof, may be different than you expected. In short, the how you celebrate today during this unprecedented time is different, most likely, than you planned it to be. But the one thing that hasn't changed is the why we gather and the why we celebrate. Today, we come together to celebrate and to recognize you and all of your accomplishments. And we want you to know that it mattered that you were here at Oak Grove. Whether it was for 1 or 2 years or all 13 years, it mattered that you were here. Your accomplishments is what we are celebrating today. The choices that you made to show up and be present, to engage with your school, with your friends and your families, your teachers and your classmates, has helped you to grow into the young men and women sitting before us. From participating in the spelling and the geography bees in elementary school, to trying a new sport, or trying a new instrument in middle school. From running for student council to singing in the choir or performing on the stage, the decisions that each of you made to try something new, even your willingness to potentially fail along the way in your pursuit of mastery, has served as an important step in your education. By being here today, you are demonstrating that you have learned the first step to any accomplishment in life, and that is to try. After all, your class motto is just try. You also know that if and when you may have failed along the way, it was simply an opportunity to begin again with a little bit more intelligence next time. Said another way, along your journey to today, your high school graduation, each of you has made choices, taken risks to try something new, to work hard, and at times you had to demonstrate grit and perseverance to make the team or make the grade. And in this way, you have learned not only enough to graduate, but also a whole lot about yourselves, your interests, your strengths, and how you hope to impact your future and the future of those around you. I hope that throughout the course of today, this weekend, and the days ahead, that you will take a moment to reflect back and feel a sense of pride in all that you have accomplished over these last 13 years. Because all of us with you today, whether here or watching online, we are so very proud of each and every one of you. For so many of us, your parents, your siblings, your friends and family members, members of the larger Oak Grove family like myself, your time on the court and on the field, your time on the stage and in the sound booth, your time on the course, track, pool, your time in robotics, band, choir, student council, and all the other opportunities that you pursued have undoubtedly provided great moments for you. But they have also provided great memories for all of us. And so thank you on behalf of the larger Oak Grove family for all of the memories. Class of 2020, as your graduation ceremony draws to a close and you begin to turn your attention to the future, I want to share my hope for each of you. I hope that you go and you grow from this moment and that you will do ambitious things, scary things, that you will travel a lot when the time is right, that you will get rich and become famous, that you will innovate, fail, listen, learn, lead, fall in love, maybe make and lose a fortune, but most of all, become who you most want to be. Be fearless in your pursuit to build the future that you envision, a future for you and all of those around you. Allow your foundation in faith that has been nurtured here at Oak Grove to serve as a place of center, to ground you as you set out to build your future. Now, some of you may be thinking, Cher, we are in unprecedented times, and that last bit about being fearless, that might be not the best advice. Some of you may be thinking, gosh, that sounds a bit risky. As a parent myself, living through these unprecedented times alongside of you, I must admit, I understand. It's scary. So here's my new advice. My old advice still stands. Graduates, go out boldly into your future and know that school is something that you complete, but life is something that you experience. Yes, we are living in unprecedented times, but the future is and always has been uncertain. And those of us here with you today, we believe in you. We believe in the class of 2020 and your ability to positively impact our world by taking care and taking precautions and applying what you've learned here at Oak Grove. As the saying goes, before you, all your dreams. Around you, all who love you. And within you, all you need. Congratulations, graduates, to the class of 2020. Now, moments ago, Mrs. Zackerson led you in the official tassel turn, which means that not only are you officially graduates, it also means that you are officially alumni. And so as your first order of business as alumni of Oak Grove, I would like you to join me in rising up I want you to bring your hands and your voices together in celebration and in recognition of President Sleddy, Mrs. Zackerson, Mr. Schumacher, and the entire team here at Oak Grove, that even though we are in uncertain times, they made today possible for all of you and to graduate and to come together and celebrate. Will you help me to recognize them? Thank you so much, graduates. Well done. And now your first work of alumni is over. So onward and upward from here. Congratulations.
It's always been a long-standing tradition for us to sing Beautiful Savior and close out the school year. This year we'll be singing together as the Oak Grove family with all of us. So please join us at home or online. If you're here, please put masks on so we can be safe. And we will be led by our graduate, Gabby Erbs, class of 2020, as we sing together. Most importantly, let us never forget that it is Jesus who makes our sorrowing spirit sing.
as a way to honor our seniors, we wanted to do something extra special for them since the school year ended the way it ended. And so as the seniors process out, they'll be receiving a Bible from Mr. Norrell and myself down there on behalf of the school. We want to say congratulations. You guys did an amazing job. The class of 2020! Woo!